Hey, everybody, welcome to Metro Scene. I'm Marvin Jackson, and we are straight off the opening of Jaja's African Hair Braiding Show at the Arena Stage in Washington, D.C. And it was just fantastic. And I have two of the cast members with me, and they are Colby Muhammad and Tiffany Renee Johnson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for
You
having us.
You all were excellent last night. The whole show. I actually have a picture of the whole cast. You all were just, it seemed like you were like a family last night after the show. We just had a time and talk about the family aspect of this cast. Tiffany?
Yes, what you saw is accurate. We really, really love each other and love getting to do this show together. I think from the first rehearsal, there was this very apparent and specific vulnerability that we all had sitting around the table, led by our director, Whitney White, and also Jocelyn Bio, who was there at the first rehearsal, and Mena Simone, our associate director. It just really created a space for us to come heart forward, and it's really paid off. We really, really love each other, and everybody's just awesome. So we love getting to tell the story with each other, and everybody's so talented and so beautiful. So yeah, we're in here. We are a family like a giant tree.
Yeah, I felt like part of the family last night myself. I tell you, after meeting everyone. And it was great that Jocelyn, the playwright, was there.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
really cool to see.
Yeah.
And
We got really lucky to be with such an amazing group because I mean, it's not always like that. It's just like coworkers, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you mesh with a group and sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
And so we're really lucky to have a group that's just filled with so much joy. It's very playful.
Yes.
You know, we are cracking jokes all the time, which I'm sure was evident by not only opening, but the show,
Yeah.
you know. So it's really been an amazing time, and I'm really grateful for it.
I think it was just so appropriate that Hannah Sharif selected this play
Oof.
as her first play of the season that she curated the whole
Yeah.
season. I thought it was just so appropriate.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a great story. And it's reflecting people that we don't see enough on the American stage. And it's fun and heartfelt, and Jocelyn just creates these worlds that you want to jump into. And it's an awesome, awesome story. And I think it's a great way to start the season for sure.
Yeah, and Hannah talked to us a lot about, recognizing that the people that come into the shop, the people that own the shop, the people who work in the shop are all around DC, right?
Yeah.
This is the place to do this and to start her season and to remind the DC area, like all of these people are here, not just the politicians, not just the big names, but the girl from around the way who just wants to get her hair braided to go on vacation, right? So I think that's a perfect way to introduce, Hannah into this season.
And with you, Colby, you played three parts last
Mm-hmm.
night. Three roles, and that first one,
Woo!
you're
Talk
right.
about
That
it.
that was the girl from around the way, right? And
That was the girl
and
from
I
around the
I've
way.
seen so many of those ladies in this city. So
Well,
somebody had already told me. They said you're going to see people personalities that you've seen already. Uh, and it reminded me also of when I go in the barbershop, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
talk about that, Colby, and how did you grasp that role? How did you know people like that?
don't we all know people like that, Marvin? Come on,
Mhm.
come on. I think a lot of it is attributed to Jocelyn's writing, right? Because one of the things you learn as an actor is to not judge the character. And it's hard, right? Because, I mean, you guys have to see the show, but the first character, sometimes it's hard. It's hard to judge that character and the things that she says. But one of the things she put in there was like, you know, this character has been working overnight for 2 months, right? Hasn't gotten any sleep. And so finding a way to humanize her, with the help of Jocelyn, with the help of Whitney, with the help of Mana Simone, humanize her, humanize Radia, you know, give layers to Sheila, even if she doesn't say too much, right? So I thought it was really fun to be able to tap into characters that I'm probably least like the first one. And being able to play and tap into those characters, but most importantly, find the humanity and in each of those characters. So, you know, I had a time. Let me tell you, I had a time playing those three characters, and I'm excited to keep growing with them.
You know, and what's so great is that you were playing characters like that, but when I met you after the show, you were nothing like that. That's the mark of a great actor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And gosh, Tiffany, how difficult was that to play your role? Aminata, right?
Aminata, yes.
Aminata.
Challenging in a lot of ways, but also really beautiful. The challenges for me were, you know, learning the dialect and wanting to do so authentically and understanding who she is and also how she shows up comedically. Those are things that I really had to and will continue to dig into and work on. And, you know, like what I always try to do when I'm telling a story is figuring out how my character feels about it, interacts with everybody they're on stage with. So how does she feel about B? How does she feel about Vanessa? You know, when she comes into the shop, how does she feel about Marie, you know, and Dee Dee, and so on and so forth. So thinking about those things and figuring out how I, Tiffany, can bring my honesty and authenticity to her, and make her distinct from me, but also to bring, you know, my truth and let it filter through her. That makes sense.
The show is run by 4 Black women, right? We have Jocelyn, we have Hannah, we have Whitney, and we have Mana Simone. And Mandisa, our stage manager.
Yes.
So they have high standards for us.
Yes.
So when Tiffany said it's challenging, they have very high standards for us. And so, you know, putting that work together, we got continuous notes like, try this, we need this. We want to represent the Black folks that come into this shop with the most respect and honor, even if they are the around the way girl. And so I want to add to that challenging part. We had to make sure we were precise
and distinct, so that it wouldn't just be a wash. I think that's something Mana Simone said, not just a wash of Blackness, but specificity. All these people are different, not the same at all. You know, the women who work in the shop are different from each other, but also share commonality. You know what I mean? But we really had to work to find the specificity in each of these people. And for the people playing multiple people, they had to do that with 3 or 4 characters, which is astonishing to me, and amazing to see. You know, like they're just really great. And I knew they were great from the first day, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a ride. I love it.
And you know, like you had said before, just the humanity of each character, not only the customers, but the workers in the shop, how their struggles are every day. And especially considering so many people in that shop who were African descent, you know, and you guys had to come up with the different accents. I don't know if you did, Colby. Did you do? You didn't have, because you were just
New York, New York, Marvin.
African American. You were the you were the
just
Harlem
Harlem
girl. You were the Harlem girl, and you did it well. Tiffany, you had to do the accent. And now, did you all have accent coaches for the people who had to do the accents? Because now I did talk to some last night, and they said their parents might have been from Sierra Leone or somewhere like that, but they were not. They were first generation Americans. How did you all do that?
Well, we had an awesome dialect coach, Yetunde, who coached us in every dialect: the Sierra Leonean dialect, the Senegalese dialect, the Nigerian dialect, the Ghanaian dialect, the Harlem dialects, all of it. She coached us. She told us like how the consonants are different in different countries and maybe even different regions. And we listened to people from our characters' countries and trying to really get the rhythm of how they speak. And the interesting thing is that we have a good amount of first generation people in our cast, but everyone is playing someone from a different place than their families are from. So Awa, who is playing a Ghanaian woman, is Gambian and Senegalese. Aisha, who's playing a Nigerian woman, is Senegalese. Yao, who's playing Ghanaian, Nigerian, Senegalese, and American, is Ghanaian. So he has one character who shares a background with he and his family, but the others are different. And I am from Chicago and not exactly sure from where beyond that point. So I had to learn the Senegalese dialect and done other dialects before, but it's very specific and different. But Yetunde has been awesome and really helped us understand how to approach these dialects.
Awesome, awesome. And Colby, you are from Richmond, Virginia, right down the 95, right?
Yep. Right down
And
the 95.
you had a big group here last night at the opening. How did that feel for you?
Oh, it's amazing. So I went to Howard University for undergrad, and me
We
and
got
Tiffany.
two Howard. That's right. We have two Howard grads.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So I graduated from Howard undergrad, and then I just graduated from UC San Diego grad school, grad MFA. And so I just graduated right this summer, and showcase and everything. And so to have this as my first show out of school, to be back in DC where I went to undergrad, where I really became an adult, and my family is so excited. Oh my God. My mom is like taking pictures with people in the cast, and I see my stepdad just talking to Jaja. I'm like, oh my God, they were so starstruck. They were having such a great time. So being able to have my family who, when I was at San Diego, I have a lot of older folks in my family, right? They can't just fly to San Diego to see me in a show. So they can come up up 95 to come to Arena Stage and see my show. And it was cool to see my mom really proud of me. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was. I saw it and it was really cool. I heard you say mommy,
She's always mommy.
Yeah, yeah. Let me get back to Tiffany. And again, both of you young ladies are from Howard University. I mean, I think that's really cool. We got another famous person in DC from Howard, don't we?
Yes,
we do.
A little bit famous,
color.
Right?
He is a woman of color. But this, yeah, before I talk about you guys specifically, this play, like you said before, it's African American women who put this together and who are managing it, who are acting in it, and the audience is a very mixed audience, and they all enjoyed this. I mean, I was looking around, everybody loved it, everybody was laughing. And Tiffany, there's something that I really got from you. You look like you could have been from one of the African countries yourself, because when you got up and, well, I don't want to say too much, but but you got some moves. You got some moves. And I was going to say, since I actually saw it, can you give us a little bit of those moves? Because I mean, you were really moving, girl. You you
I'm gonna save the
moved
moves
in
for
my
the
seat.
stage, so people have to come see them. But yeah, I was before I was an actor, I danced for many years, and also like again, just thinking about like specificity, just like looking at different forms of movement, and like not every movement that I did was Senegalese specifically in different parts, especially like I don't know if this is the right term to say, but like in Afro beats culture, there's like this amalgamation of movement from different countries and different regions. And I just decided that Aminata is really into that. So, we pull a little bit from Ghana, from Nigeria, maybe some from South Africa, from Senegal. There's a movement specifically that I do when a character comes onto the stage, and that is something that is specifically Senegalese, or something that I saw Senegalese movers do. So yeah, I just play and I try to have fun
Yeah,
and get out of my head.
folks, you got to come see this
Yeah,
because um,
I
not
just hit them a little
only
bankhead
yeah,
bounce for
there
the
you go.
camera.
That's right.
The little 90s special.
And there was some young ladies sitting in front of me, and they started moving too. It's really a play that people can really get into. I mean, while they're there, and I just think that was just the best thing to start off this season at Arena Stage. What is it that you guys were inspired about to become actors? Let me ask you that, Colby.
Sure. Well, it's a long story. Well, no, I won't make it long. But my mom, I know, they were like, keep it short, go. My mom was a dancer. And so she put me in acting classes at a young age. I actually went to go see The Lion King on Broadway when I was a kid, and it was a bunch of black and brown kids doing theater. And I thought to myself, oh, I could actually do this, right? You see stuff on TV, you see people who don't really look like you often, but to see 8-year-old black girls on stage dancing and acting and singing, that was the first time I really felt like, okay, this is something I want to do, and this is something I can do. So that was my start.
Okay. Any people in acting that inspired you?
As a kid,
Well, even
or just even
now.
now? I mean, as a kid, Brandy and Cinderella
Okay.
was one of the first actors and singers and that I fell in love with. And now, if I'm being honest, the people that inspire me are the actors that are working alongside me, the people who are grinding every day, have their part-time job as a waiter, right? Who are getting up and going to auditions and creating work that is inspiring, and even if we're getting paid pennies, right? So that's kind of who inspired me now.
Tiffany?
For me, inspired really early by actors I would see on stage in Chicago. My mom would take me to places like ETA, Creative Arts, which is a small theater on the south side of Chicago. She took me to festivals and to see Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater and Muntu Dance and Dance Theater of Harlem. And so I know those aren't actors specifically, but that really whet my appetite for art. And the plays that she would take me to see really, really showed me, I think, early, before I even realized it, what was possible as an artist. And then as I got a little bit older, Debbie Allen and Felicia Rashad, huge inspirations for me. Also Howard alum, shameless plug. And Kimberly Elise. I remember seeing Kimberly Elise in this Wonderful World of Disney movie about Loretta Claiborne, who was a Paralympian. And I was astonished by her performance. And I think Kimberly Elise is amazing. And she inspired me really early. And I think presently, I'm inspired by people like Viola Davis, of course. Ingenue Ellis is a phenom, and I just want to sit and take notes whenever she's acting. Tina Lifford, who most recently I watched in Queen Sugar, she's just such an honest actor, and I love her. Those are just a few of the people who inspire me presently. There's a long list and it shifts, but I also absolutely agree with Colby. Like, I love watching my peers on stage, whether I'm on the stage with them or sitting in the audience. I learn so much from them. I learned something from every one of my castmates in this show. They all are so distinctly talented and gifted, and I learn from watching them every day.
Yeah, I noticed how you all were into each other after the show, but even during the show. So I can see what you're saying there. What is it that you all want people to get out of this piece if they come to see this show? Each one of you, what would you?
Well, I kind of mentioned it earlier. I want people to see the humanity in these people, and to realize that we're more alike than we are different. And I think particularly at this point, right, we're going into an election season and there's so much division between sides. And I feel like this show, as an audience member, you mentioned it, right? Like, there were people in the audience who don't look like us, right? And we're having a good time and dancing and laughing and recognizing characters that they saw in themselves, that they've seen in others. And it's just a reminder that we are much more alike than we are different. And so I hope that people will leave with that nugget.
I want people to see themselves reflected on the stage. I want them to feel seen. I want them to have a great time and to maybe step away from whatever they're experiencing outside of the theater for an hour and a half, or maybe bring their experience into the theater for an hour and a half. I want them to look and see and say to themselves, wow, this is what's possible. You know what I mean? If they're young people watching the show who may be interested in being actors or performers, I want them to be like, wow, maybe I can do that. And to see that they can.
All right, that sounds real good. And I think that all of those things that you said, I got all of that out of the opening performance last night at Arena Stage. Everybody go out and get your tickets to see Jaja's African Hair Braiding. It is just awesome. A lot of fun. It's not a musical, but I felt like I was at a musical. I mean, you all really put on a performance. Women of color, it was just awesome to see.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
So
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for being on Metro Scene. And I'm going to go back. I got to go back and see it.
Come on back. We will welcome you with open arms.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you know if I come back. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Good.
Thanks so much for being with us. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Metro Scene featuring Jaja's African Hair Braiding, the first show of this season at Arena Stage. Thanks to our guests, cast members, Colby Muhammad and Tiffany Renee Johnson, for joining us today. So for Metro Scene, I'm Marvin Jackson. We'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.